difference over the last 12 months. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the Edmonton market. So let me just see if this clicker works. Beautiful. Okay, so these are our stats that come out every month. So they're always about a month behind. So next, the first week of December, we'll have our November stats. So when I take a look at this, there's a couple of things that I typically focus on. First thing I look at is new listings. I always like to see what type of inventory has been coming to the market and where we've been sitting. So if you take a look over our month over month, so we have we have 15% decline in listings coming to the market. But as you guys all know, being savvy investors, Edmonton is a pretty seasonal city, so it makes sense for our inventory to decline as we move closer and closer to Christmas and we're in the winter market. Next thing is our sales. So on the right-hand side, we can see our sales. And so we look at month over month, and then we also look at year over year. So year over year is actually pretty crazy, 19% down. Obviously, 2021 was a crazy year in real estate. But with that all being said, one of the big things people focus on is what is the real estate value. We constantly hear headlines about, the real estate market is declining and house prices are like hitting the bottom. And the nice thing with Edmonton is we take a look, our single family year over year is actually up from last year, even with all of the decline in sales. The only one that hit was in condos. So we've dealt with oversupply in the condo market. So we've seen that affect the market. And then also with our duplex and townhouse market, as interest rates continue to affect people's borrowing power, we tend to see people look into other categories of homes. So we move from single family into our duplex and townhouse type of properties. So just some brief stats that we took away from what you saw up there. So total residential unit sales in the greater Edmonton area for October decreased 6.7% compared to September. And we saw a year over year decrease of 21% from October 2021. New residential listings decreased 13% month over month from September 2022. And we saw a small increase of 0.8% from October last year. And then again, this is the house pricing side. This is where we've seen our average house price of 2.7% year over year increase and a month over month loss of about 0.3%. That's on the single family side. So one factor playing into Edmonton's resilience is the relative stability. Edmonton is the least exciting real estate market in all of Canada, or at least one of them, Tom Shearer, who's in charge of Edmonton Real Estate Association of Edmonton. So we don't get too high and we don't get too low. So anytime we talk to investors, one of the big things I say is we're a very steady Eddie type of investing city. We don't see those big valleys and those huge jumps of appreciation, and we don't see those giant declines either. So it's a nice stable market that a lot of people can kind of predict and project of what's happening. We're all about principal pay down and a cash flow city. So for sellers, obviously people still have to sell their homes. So one of the things that we like to tell our clients, and what is really important as a buyer as well, we take a look at two things. So we take a look at our active inventory and we take a look at our pending properties. So this is for Sherwood Park. Actually, I took about anything from 900 to 1,100 square feet in all of Sherwood Park for a detached single family house. There were 7 properties in that market, and only 1 out of 7 were actively pending at that time. So that's pretty low for absorption rate. So if you take a look at all of that list and we see 1 pending out of all the actives, what is it? Can you guys see it? It's the lowest price out of all of them. That's the one that's pending. So when we're pricing a property, typically we say there's what we call price bands, and those range in about $25,000 increments. And so you want to be the best property in the lower price band rather than the middle or lowest in the upper price band. And so this is what you see, the house that at the lowest price within this criteria is the one that's pending. A couple other things that are happening that people are pushing for, people are looking for. So any type of investors want to look for a diversified economy, in case we have a job loss, a big corporation leaves that city, can it sustain the real estate market? So Edmonton's continuing to look for diversity. And so the Edmonton film industry is aiming to generate $100 million a year with more TV, movie, and digital productions. Right now, I think it's about 25 million for the Edmonton region. So some interesting things that are coming through. Another big thing that's happening, and this is going to be pushed into December, is the Edmonton budget from City Council. So this is going to stem the budget for the next couple of years, moving from 2023, and I think it goes to about 2026. So they had about 170 speakers at City Council, and everybody's putting their wish lists together for where are those dollars going to be spent. So we take a look at some of the hot topics right now with Edmonton City Council. So Lewis Farm Rec Center, have you guys all heard about that project? So that's about a $370 million project. Some councilors are pretty in for it, and some councilors are not. And so they're pushing to have that off of the budget and move to something else. Affordable housing, that's another big hot topic. It's actually not in the budget right now for the next 3 years. So is it something that's going to come down the pipe? People who are coming, there were a lot of speakers who want affordable housing to be part of the budget moving forward. And last but not least, transit budget. We talk about the transportation effect as investors. Do we want to target areas and locations close to LRT stops, things like that? Are we going to get some more budget for it? We've had in the past, we have issues with the South Valley Line LRT. We have the West Valley Line LRT hoping to come into construction soon. And, hear a lot of things about budgets for safety on the LRT line and things like that. So all of those things are going to be discussed coming and decision to be made in December. So what does this mean for you as an investor? So Devin said this last month, get educated and stay in the know. So understanding what's happening. Obviously, if this Lewis Farm rec center gets built, there's going to be a lot of demand. There's going to be a lot of interest in that general area. So, is it a good time to buy a property in that area? Being educated is going to help with understanding that. Opportunities is there and around every corner. So opportunities, this is a big thing. You want to take a look right now. The market is tough for a lot of sellers. There's a lot of inventory out there with not a lot of buyers. Properties are sitting on market for a little bit longer. So can you take advantage? Is there opportunities as a buyer? AFS and creative deals. There's a gentleman in the back, Mr. Valden Palm. He's the man of creative deals. If you guys want to talk to him about creative deals, that guy's done a lot of creative deals. And these are the markets where you find a lot of those. So sellers that need to get out. People talk about zero money down deals. That is possible, especially in markets like this. And for the sellers who still need to sell, like we talked about, price to sell in this market, look at your active and pendings. Don't look at outdated solds. And even 30, 45, 60 days, those are technically outdated now. So you really want to focus on what's active, who is your active competition, because those are the properties that the buyers are going to look for. So that's it for your Edmonton